clear violation of COVID protocols, and that will be a charge that the police is expected to level. But breaking news now coming in. 78 veterans have issued a statement and highlighted the defence scams in the UPA era. They have said that corruption in defence deals must be dealt through a focused investigation and through special fast-track courts. It is important that an example be made of all those found guilty of taking bribes in the AgustaWestland case. So a call for action coming in from veterans. There has been there are 78 signatories in this letter. And the only demand is that an example must be made. And Abhishek is joining us on the phone line as he breaks down these details. A clear mention of the recent developments in the case in the AgustaWestland probe made by veterans who've actually put out this statement, Abhishek, where they went on to say, mention the kind of revelations that came to the fore over Rajiv Saxena's statement to the Enforcement Directorate, where Kamal Nath's sons have been named, and now a larger demand for seeking action, because they've said that this has gone on for far too long, and this cannot be treated just as a corruption case but as an anti-national activity. Take us through the contents of the letter, Abhishek.
Well, Shadharika, the main contention of the veterans in writing this letter is that corruption goes and ruins the innards of the system and has debilitating consequences for long time to come so far as India's defense and security apparatus and the defense and security policy is concerned. They have shown how Bofors led to a situation where India for decades was deprived of good technology. And to that extent, they are demanding that in the light of the recent developments, the government should make sure that the investigation is taken to its logical conclusion. So, it should not stop at the middlemen who have been caught and put behind bars, but then the names of those who were actual perpetuators of this corruption and ideators of this corruption, so to say, should also be brought to book. Essentially, what the veterans are saying is that this malaise has to be treated in a manner that for all times to come, a repeat of a Bofors or a repeat of Augusta does not happen. And for that reason, it's very important that all those named, obviously the references to the political names that have appeared in the last few days, they should be brought to book, and justice should be seen to be done so that the fangs of corruption or the corruption is defanged for all time to come.
All right, Abhishek, stay with us. On the phone line. Lieutenant Colonel V.K. Chaturvedi is joining us. And Lieutenant Colonel Chaturvedi, Lieutenant General V.K. Chaturvedi is joining us on the phone line. Lieutenant General Chaturvedi, we have a very, very strong call for action made by 78 veterans who've raised corruption in defense deals in the UPA era, specifically talking about the AgustaWestland case. In the context of the revelations that have now come to the fore with names of top Congress leaders coming in. I'm going to read out an excerpt from this statement. The demand that has been made so far is, three lines from the statement: we need to send an unambiguous message across all the high and mighty that that national security is paramount, and anyone trying to play with its sanctity will be severely punished. Lack of action in such cases will only give wings to the corrupt to continue with such anti-national activities in future, and is therefore not acceptable. Lieutenant General Chaturvedi, your first reaction. All right, we'll get more defense experts on the phone line as we get you the details of this letter that has been written by 78 veterans, their signatories, and Lieutenant General Chaturvedi was the main signatory of the letter, in which he went on to say, for the good of the nation, corruption in defense deals must be dealt with through a focused investigation and through special fast-track courts. It is important that an example be made of all those found guilty of taking bribes in the AgustaWestland case. So very, very important call for action here. Veterans going on to say that it is important that an example be made of all those found guilty of taking bribes in the AgustaWestland case, so that it has both a deterrent effect and also serves as a precedent for dealing with similar cases in the future. Lieutenant General V.K. Chaturvedi, you are the main signatory of the letter which calls for action against those found guilty in cases of corruption, especially in defense-related procurements. AgustaWestland has become case in point. You've also spoke about Bofors. Tell our viewers about the 5 or 6 demands made by 78 veterans when it comes to demanding immediate action in these cases.
Basically, what we have talked about in this letter is that all such defense deals and where the corruption takes place affects the combat effectiveness and operational preparedness of our armed forces, which directly affects the national security, our sovereignty and territorial integrity. And therefore, these are anti-national acts and must be treated with utmost sincerity and utmost speed. They need to be dealt with in the most strongest manner and in the earliest time frame. That is our basic demand, so that a message goes all across the board in the country that you cannot play with the national security. Such acts, in my view, personal view, is that they are acts of treason and they must be dealt with as such. We cannot afford.
Lieutenant General V.K. Chaturvedi, you've also made the recent revelations made by Rajiv Saxena, and as per reports, that a statement in the Enforcement Directorate naming top leaders of the Congress party, including the sons of Kamal Nath. You've made that the crux of your letter while seeking this kind of accountability. You also said that, like you just mentioned, that this is treason. Has there been any response to the letter that you've written?
Oh, we haven't. That was not the aim. Our aim was to draw the attention of those who are running the country to take stringent action against such defaulters. And let me tell you, it is not against the party. It is against individuals who indulge the party, maybe in some manner you can call it, but otherwise it is the individuals who have to be totally dealt with, and we need to send strong signals, strong messages that such acts are anti-national acts. Bofors is a case in point which we have mentioned. 86 we signed it. Around 89 we blacklisted the Bofors. Then we did not have the space when we went in for Kargil war. When the ban was lifted, then we were able to procure, and this was one of the best guns that we had. But without space, it cannot effectively engage the target. It cannot fire. And that's how our operational preparedness, our combat effectiveness is affected. We cannot deal with national security in such manners. And AgustaWestland is second one, and this is basically to see that such things do not take place in future. And national security, the sovereignty and territorial integrity is given the highest priority.
Absolutely. Lieutenant General V.K. Chaturvedi, thank you so much for staying with Republic, and that letter, strongly worded letter written by 78 veterans. The main aim, as Lieutenant General Chaturvedi highlighted, was to bring the attention to how defense scams have, cannot be compromising the security of the nation, and those involved, be it politically connected people, should be acted against.